Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. Today we've got, actually, you know what? Before we get to the sneaker talk, let's do this thing I've wanted to do since the Denver Nuggets won the NBA championship this past week. First of all, congrats to the Nuggets. Nikola Jokic, man, that's a bad man right there. I won't even make the can't wait until he's a Laker in a few years jokes because he doesn't seem like the type, but I mean, still he would look great in purple and gold. Anyways, congrats to Joker, the best center since Shaq, and more on that later, and to the city of Denver. Didn't really know too much about the Nuggets in the 90s until the Dikembe Mutombo, Rodney Rogers, and Robert Pack days, and then they traded for my guy Nick Van Exel a few years later, a few blast seasons in between, but when they switched to those fire powder blue jerseys and drafted Carmelo, good times. J.R. Smith, Marcus Camby, Birdman, Allen Iverson for a few years. The Nuggets even made it as far as the 2009 West Finals before losing to my Lakers. Yeah, memories. Again, congrats to Denver. You all earned it, but hopefully you never win another one because, always and forever, go Lakers. But what I really wanted to talk about was Melo and Shaq. Let's start with Melo. If you don't remember, Carmelo Anthony left Denver in 2011 under acrimonious circumstances. After reaching the 2009 West Finals, he felt that the team wasn't reloading to his liking. They were trading and not re-signing teammates he liked, like Dante Jones, who Laker fans will always remember for hurting the late Kobe Bryant on a number of dirty plays throughout the years. Anyways, Melo thought a dude like that was worth keeping. That would be a strike against his GM skills, in my opinion, but again, whatever. He demanded to be traded to the New York Knicks a half season before he was set to become a free agent. In exchange for Anthony, the Knicks sent a whole bunch of players that Melo probably would have wanted to keep for depth reasons in a 2016 draft pick swap. Again, GM Melo not looking so hot. Understandably, this angered a lot of Nuggets fans. Like, Melo could have left in free agency that summer and Denver would have got nothing. Even though their team got a decent amount of players that kept them from being bottom feeders in the West, there was that sense of betrayal. And every time Melo came back, they booed his ass. It's not unlike the reception Vince Carter used to get when he would go back to Toronto. And like the Raptors, the Nuggets allowed other players to wear number 15. However, unlike the Raptors, who made peace with Carter in his later years, the Nuggets and their fans never publicly buried the hatchet with Melo. At the same time, Denver serendipitously gave their number 15 to a second-round pick in 2014, who would turn out to not only be the leader of their championship team, but a potential top 20 player of all time. Joker is that good. No offense to Melo, but there are people who wondered why he made the NBA 75 list. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is, even if Kawhi Leonard wore number 15 on the Raptors, drafted Jokic, Vince Carter is getting his 15 retired in Toronto someday. Melo in Denver? I personally think the Nuggets should retire 15 for Joker, but also for Melo, especially after he realized that the 2016 draft pick swap turned out to be Jamal Murray. But if Nugget fans want to stay bitter and petty forever, there's something kind of funny about that too. Now, the Shaq part. I knew it was coming the moment Denver won. They are already debating Joker's spot in the all-time rankings on ESPN. And according to professional hot take machine Max Kellerman, Joker is already at the same level as Shaq. Stephen A. Smith and JJ Redick were arguing if Joker is more skilled or dominant than Shaq ever was. I haven't checked what Skip Bayless is saying because no one should ever care what Skip Bayless has to say, but I'm guessing he's already placed Joker above Shaq, above LeBron, and if he's on one, maybe even above MJ. Look, right now, Joker is the proverbial him. A year ago, it was Steph. 2 years ago, it was Giannis. Next year, it could be Giannis again, or Steph again, or maybe it's Luka, or Embiid, or please, for the love of basketball gods, let AD be him like he was in the bubble. For me, what this championship secured for Joker is a spot among the truly, truly great. But he's not on that Shaq, Wilt, Russell, Kareem, Hakeem level yet. Nah, Joker's got to collect some more hardware, not just rings, to get into that club. But the content machine has to keep on rolling during the offseason. So yeah, get ready for all these talking heads to unnecessarily talk up Joker at the expense of Shaq. And you know how big fella gets when he takes things personally. Poor Dwight Howard never recovered from borrowing Superman. Now, I don't think Shaq is going to go at Joker like he did Dwight, because Joker doesn't seem to give a shit about anything besides hooping and become Nikola Jokic of chariot racing. But next season on Inside the NBA, Charles Barkley, Kenny Smith, and Ernie Johnson are going to have the jokes. And I actually don't know if Shaq will take it in stride. I mean, we all like to think Shaq is just working us all when he gets all sensitive about his place in the big man rankings, but now that there is a potential threat to his spot looming, he might be working himself into a shoot, brother, and it's gonna be fun to watch. All right, let's move on to the Heat Check, where we bring you everything that's dropping this week. First up, we have the Jordan Tatum 1 in pink lemonade on June 20th for $120. Nike Dunk Low Code.jp on June 21st for $120. The Nike Air Zoom Generation Court Purple, that's going to be $190. The Nike J Force 1 in black and in white for $170. The Unknown Nike LeBron 20 on the 22nd for $210. It actually glows in the dark, which is nice. The New Balance 576 made in the UK Toasted Nut, that's going to be $240. The Women's Air Jordan 2 Low Look Up in the Air, that's going to be $150. The Women's Nike Dunk Low Gold Suede, that's going to be $120. The New Balance 991 made in the UK Star White, that's going to be $260. The Panda Dunk restock again and again times 30 maybe, that's going to be $110 on the 23rd. Pleasures Puma Velo Fastest, that's going to be on the 24th. And then the Air Jordan 1 Low Black Cement on the 24th for $140. And then our pick of the week is the Nike Mac Attack OG. This is going to be on the 23rd for $120. Another classic returns in the form of tennis legend John McEnroe's signature shoe, the Mac Attack. How there's no tie-in to that Mark Morrison song, you know the one I'm talking about, is beyond me. It's not like Nike can't afford to license that song. Anyways, this sneaker is coming in hot with a lot of hype behind it. LeBron James was seen a while back wearing the 1984 original, followed by Travis Scott having his own pair and then producing his own version with the reverse swoosh. There's even a Social Status collab coming soon that was leaked, very heavy quotes there, by PJ Tucker in a variety of colorways and a fadeaway gimmick. So yeah, there is some muscle behind this one, but will it matter to the public? Like, if the reverse swoosh version drops, it will sell out and command a premium at resale. But the OG drop and the colorways to follow, I'm not so sure. Personally, I want to see this succeed and blow up so that we can move on from the chokehold that dunks have had on the culture for the past few years. However, it's also possible that the Mac Attack won't catch on and it just becomes another tennis retro that has a few hits like the Tech Challenge 2 retros of the mid-2010s. Cool enough to be a retro, but not enough to become a staple like the dunks. Yeah, it's a weird place. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass. We'll take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like the idea, actually, I didn't do a heat check segment. Let's do some quick hits before we get to the Hard Pass. According to Soul Savvy, the Spider-Verse Jordan 1 utility that alternate universe Miles Morales wears is limited to only 100 pairs. Probably for the best, considering the reactions to the Jordan 1 utility. Still betting that there will be a third Chicago-inspired Spider-Verse Jordan 1 that will get a wider release, though. Nike Air Max is coming to Fortnite. Unfortunately, it appears to be dot swoosh related, so get ready to wear the same across EA Sports games and Fortnite, because that's what we all wanted, to look like the same hype beast across different games. Wake me up when Nike convinces Nintendo to get involved with this nonsense, and then we're on to something. Phil Mickelson of the Live Golf High Flyers was wearing a handmade fragment designed Travis Scott Air Jordan 1 custom by a friend of the program, Shoe Sturgeon, at the US Open. Does Phil even know what Air Jordans are? Okay, maybe he's heard of them, but this is the first time he's worn J's ever. It has to be, right? And finally, Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen are doing a podcast together. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Speaking of Hard Pass, let's take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like the idea that this was about more than just the bag. It's being speculated that Kyrie Irving is now an Anta signature athlete after he was pictured wearing the Anta Shockwave Pro 5 at its annual summer basketball camp. Neither Kyrie nor Anta has confirmed the news, but the way some outlets are talking, it looks like it's a done deal. I don't know, man. If there's anything we've learned about Kai over the past several years, it's nothing is a done deal until nothing is ever a done deal with Kai. He was even spotted in Gucci Row over at the Drew League. Suspiciously, the Drew League IG doesn't show his kicks and declared that he was finally going to bring Uncle Drew back to the Drew. Again, I'll believe it when I see it. And I can already see the reaction to this bit in the comments. Look at Jacques taking shots at Kyrie, or why are you always bringing him down, Jacques? Because if Kai does sign with Anta, it will be very disappointing. And it should be disappointing to some of his most fervent fans as well. Think about how this whole sneaker saga started. Kyrie was unhappy with the shoe that was supposed to be the Nike Kyrie 8 in the summer of 2021. He publicly trashed the sneaker when it first leaked, saying that he had nothing to do with the design and marketing. In fact, here is the IG comment in full, so there's no disputing what he said. And I quote, "I have nothing to do with the design or marketing of the upcoming Kyrie 8. In my opinion, these are trash. I have absolutely nothing to do with them. Nike plans to release it without my okay, regardless of what I say, so I apologize in advance to all my sneakerheads and true supporters of the Kai 11 brand," end quote. Okay then, a few days later, he releases a statement with Shams saying, and I quote, "When you're building something great, there sometimes comes a point where you need to recalibrate and refocus to ensure everyone involved is aligned. This is where Kai 11 brand and Nike are. It was unfair to put the blame on Nike or any one person. With that being said, we are diligently working, restructuring, and reimagining things together to make sure we get it right," end quote. Spoiler alert, they didn't get it right. The Nike Kyrie 8 was renamed the Kyrie Infinity, and Irving would play in them sparingly during the 21-22 season. He would have some of his best games of the season not wearing the Infinity. Honestly, they should have renamed the shoe after Sue Bird since she wore them way more than Kai ever did. By May 22, ESPN was reporting that Nike would not be renewing their contract with Irving, ostensibly ending their run in 2023 with the Nike Kyrie 9, their actual Nike Kyrie 8. Sadly, even though Irving seemed to be fine wearing the real Nike Kyrie 8 throughout the summer and teasing big things for the shoe that season, stuff got in the way. You know, stuff. The stuff that led to Kai being rightfully suspended but unfairly categorized as being Kanye-like. He was subsequently cut by Nike a few months early and eventually traded to the Dallas Mavericks. By the All-Star game, Kai was wearing older Nike Kyries and removing or hiding the swoosh and writing messages of freedom and liberation. Save for a few leaks and broken street dates, the Nike Kyrie 8 never made it to the stores. Okay, so now we're here, and Kai might be headed to Anta. I'm not going to get into the geopolitical and nationalistic reasons why this possible move wildly contradicts Kai's messages of freedom and liberation, because frankly, that situation could change as quick as a Kai spin move, and we're not going to waste our energy on that today. But what I do have the energy for is the idea that Kai was portraying himself to be some sort of visionary and leader who was going to lead us somewhere. And then it turns out he may have sold out for what will probably be a huge bag with the Chinese brand. Maybe I'm naive. Maybe I'm like those kids who Kai promised that he would stay in Boston if they would have him, only to bounce the moment things didn't go to his liking. Maybe I'm one of those bandwagon Brooklyn Nets fans who bought into the super team he tried to form with Kevin Durant that even had a James Harden cameo. Maybe I'm one of those NBA 2K GMs who thinks having two dudes in Dallas with 39 and 32 badges will translate into a championship. Maybe I'm one of those hopeless romantics who thinks that LeBron can change him if we did a sign and trade with Dallas. Actually, I'm none of those things. As great of a singular talent as Kai is, I know his last significant NBA moment was in Game 7 of the 2016 Finals. That go-ahead shot was in a black and gold Nike Kyrie 2, 7 Nike Kyrie signature shoes ago. He wanted to be the man in Boston, but that didn't work out. He wanted to run Brooklyn with KD. That didn't work out. He wanted to trade and ended up alongside a fellow transcendent offensive genius in Luka Doncic, but that might not work out either. Now, if you're a Kyrie stan, and there are a lot of them out there, you can offer up a bunch of reasons that plausibly excuse Kai from all of those situations. Fine, you can do that, and honestly, I wouldn't even care, except for the stuff that happened earlier this past season. That was on a different level. We can all chalk up the rest to an NBA All-Star trying to find his way. I just wish that searching didn't involve a lot of YouTube rabbit holes. But what does kind of irk me is the failed possibility. Yes, if Kai does sign with Anta, he will no doubt donate a chunk, if not a large chunk, of his bag towards black empowerment. And that's cool, man. As we've said before on this show, Kai dedicates time, energy, and money to supporting black-owned businesses, whether it's through wearing their brands or shouting them out on his various platforms. He does talk the talk. I don't always agree with everything that comes out of his mouth or his IG stories because they sometimes display thoughts that are a mile wide and an inch deep, but his heart is often in the right place. However, symbolically, a star of Kyrie Irving's caliber starting a signature shoe line owned by him would have spoken volumes. It might not sell like a Nike Kyrie, but I bet it would have sold more than an Anta Kyrie. You can't even buy Anta sneakers here in the US unless you're fluent in Chinese online commerce and overseas shipping. If the Anta deal is true, he's foregoing charting his own path for a sure thing, and that doesn't sound very Kai to me. But hey, like I said, things can change. It's Kai. He could be an Anta guy right now, but by tomorrow he could be with Adidas or Puma. It just won't hit the same, and we all know it. No matter how good that shot in 2016 was. 2016. That was a long time ago, people. I'm just saying. All right, that's going to do it for the show. Thank you for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you next week. If you'd like to possibly be featured in a future episode, call us at 818-493-9325. Leave a short message, your socials if you want, no more than 30 seconds. All right, I'll see you next week. Peace.